Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Bennett, your host with the most, and today we have a couple of boxes of Allen and Ginter. This is a brand new release, 2025 Allen and Ginter Hobby. Those of you who watch this channel and who've been members of this community for a little while know how much I love Allen and Ginter. I like these oddball releases. Goodwin Champions, Allen and Ginter. I really like them. I've hit some really big cards out of them. They're a lot of fun. They're not expensive. And there's just a lot going on in every box. So without any further ado, I bought 2 boxes, but we are going to start with one. If we hit anything decent, I'm going to stop with one. If the first box is a dud, we're going to keep the second one as a backup. If the first one's good, I'm going to keep the second one in a closet for a later date. But if it's bust, I'm going to try my best to not leave you with nothing and myself with nothing. So let's get into it. Before we do, it's not going to show you anything here because it's a Topps product. But you can see here, we're guaranteed, it's not an on-average thing, we're guaranteed 2 hits. So it says look for any of these 2 cards in every box. Autograph cards, that says relic cards, printing plates, rip cards, and then book cards. I've hit all of those things except for a book. I've never hit a book out of Allen and Ginter. And I think, yeah, it's got a little seal on the side. The packing on this is a little different than in years past. They have like 2 sides. I've seen this opened a couple of times online, even though it just released. So they're kind of broken up like this, which is pretty cool. We're going to get all the packs out, and then we are going to get into it. Let's see if I slide that over. There we go. And that's what you can see in the inside. That's what it looks like in there. It's pretty cool. Look for special redemption for unique, what does that say? Daguerreotype book cards. That's pretty cool. Huh. Be cool to get one of those, huh? There's a whole bunch of people in here, right? A whole bunch of players. Oftentimes, there are going to be other sports besides baseball. There are always going to be actors, musicians. There's going to be a bunch of people in here we haven't heard of. There's going to be minis in all these packs. Some of the minis are rarer inserts. They're shorter prints, I should say. They're going to have different colored borders to them. And every year, Allen and Ginter's got something going on with animals. I think this year it's fish, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's take a look. Here's our first look at 2025 Allen and Ginter. Design is, similar to what it's been in the past. Who is that? John Hall, musician. Red Clay Strays. Never heard of him. Okay, let's keep going. There's Chris Bryant, Ken Griffey. There's Yogi. There's our first mini is a Cody Bellinger. And then each pack, I think, or every other pack has one of these World Series cards. Okay, so most of what's in here is going to be paper, right? There's going to be some refractors that are on a chromium stock, like you can see one coming up right there. But what we're looking for is the hits, right? Or we're looking for some unusual numbered cards. For the price, these boxes retailed, I think I picked these up for $140 something a box, which isn't too bad. There's Dawson and there's Schmidt on the 2 refractors. That is Kyle Tucker, and there's Bob Gibson in the World Series. And we'll keep going. I hope everyone's well. I hope the holidays are treating you well. There's going to be some more videos on this channel coming kind of back to back. I just posted one. I'm going to be posting another one. So it's something I don't normally do, which is post on back-to-back days or every couple of days. But it's just sort of how it worked out right now. So here is Pudge Rodriguez. This is Light the Night or the Lighthouse. I don't know what that is. And there's Mark McGwire. I think in the 89 World Series for the A's. Well, let's keep going. Okay, we have Jax. Don't know who that is. There's Darryl. There's Gudino. Who's that? Joe Gudino. Joined bandmates, childhood friends. the Saggets. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, let's keep going. There's Royce Lewis. There's Yoshida. There's a refractor of Quero. Now, there's sort of like one of the shorter printed minis. That's a Mike Schmidt. And there's Clayton Kershaw on the Wicked Curves insert. Sometimes there are going to be some weird things in here. Occasionally you'll find something that's like hand numbered. One of the cool things is that all these autographs are on card. There's Richard Kind. That's one of the few actors I'm probably going to know in here. There's Aaron Nola. There's a Jackie Robinson refractor. That's pretty cool. It's always cool to hit Jackie Robinson no matter what product you're opening. Here's a Chrome Mini of Ryan Sandberg. Rest in peace. We just lost Ryan. One of the greatest second basemen, I think you could say, second baseman who ever played. Certainly one of the best hitting second basemen who ever played. There's Gwynn, talking about great hitters. There's Henderson. There's Keith. There's Schwarber. Where does Schwarber end up? Here's another refractor. There's Ernie Banks. We're at all the legends. It's pretty cool. There's Correa, and there's Pedro Martinez on the Wicked Curves. Okay, we still haven't seen one of our hits. Usually they fall like one on each side or one on each half. So we'll see what we can see. There's Bobby Witt Jr., there's Seager, there's Muncy, Marshall. What Marshall is that? That's Tom Marshall. Okay, Tom. There's Roger Maris. There's Rogers Hornsby. Roger and Rogers. And there is the Phillies win the pennant. The Phillies win the pennant. Nobody ever announced that, but they might have, had it not been done before. In, what was that, 51? There's Powell, Fitzgerald. There's Jazz Chisholm. There's Chan-Ho Park. It's funny who you see pop up in here. Here's Yamamoto. We like Yamamoto. There's Contreras. The World Series he had, huh? There's Chris Sale. And there's Tom Seaver on the Wicked Curves. Boy, did he ever have a wicked curve. You're not kidding. All right, let's see. We're not quite halfway through this box, but we haven't hit a thing. There's May. What May is that? Tom May. Is this the same guy we just hit? I don't know who these people are. It's funny how they find these obscure musicians. There's always also a lot of country musicians for some reason in Alan Ginter. There's Albert Pujols on a refractor, Altuve, and this is Red Sox win the World Series. Yes, it is. Although that franchise is not exactly going in the direction it wants right now. It hasn't for the last few years, but it looks like they're pulling it back together. Okay, here is Mackenzie Gore. There's Baby Acuna, Luis Angel. There's a rip card. Oh, very cool. There's a rip card of McCutchen. 191 of 199. Wow, we're going to put that aside for right now. We're going to do that last. That's one of our hits. That's a very cool hit. McCutchen of 199 is not really a choice. Sometimes they are. Here's some of the birds. That's the state bird of Mississippi, which is the mockingbird. How about that? Huh. There's Steve Carlton. Is To Kill a Mockingbird set in Mississippi? I don't remember. Somewhere in the South. Yeah, this is pretty cool. With the rip card, sometimes there's a decision to be made, right? Sometimes it'll be some kind of low number. Like, let's say that was a lower numbered judge. Do I want to rip that open? Do I want to destroy that card? There's Scott Boras. Why he has a card, I don't know. But with like a McCutchen number to 199, it's a no-brainer, right? I'm going to rip that open. There's Horton, Ramirez. There's Norby. There's Alonso. Where does he end up? There's Jim Thome. I dropped Simeon for the Rangers. I'm sorry. And this is the White Sox win the World Series. Yes, indeed. The Red Sox, then the White Sox. Okay, this is the last pack of the first half. Again, getting a rip card, they're not so easy to get. These are not hits you see, these come maybe a couple of case probably, I want to say. So that's a cool card to hit. So we may be leaving that other box intact. There's Will Clark, Garrett Crochet, there's Thurman Munson, Adele Amador, there's Trey Turner, put that down. There's a Yamamoto Mini, that's cool. And there is Goose Gossage, Wicked Curves, also Wicked Mustache. All right, we're into the second half of the box. We're on one more hit. We'll look at this half, and then we'll get to that rip card last. There's Wheeler, there's Carroll, there's Volpe, there's The hell is that? Mark Long, the godfather of reality TV. Well, I don't know who that is. Oral Hershiser. There's Joe D. There's Jordan. And this one is the Royals win the World Series. I think that's Brett Saberhagen in that picture. If you're not old enough to know who Brett Saberhagen was, he was a beast. In his day, he was a beast. There's Gilbert. Ooh, sorry, I almost knocked it. I got so excited about Chad Gilbert. Chad helped found the pop-punk band Newfound Glory. Great. All right, Chad. Good for you, man. There's Bellinger, Carew. There's Turner, Schmidt. There's another Jackie Robinson refractor. That's pretty cool. What else we got? We got Yu Darvish and Trevor Hoffman on the wicked curves. Hoffman was more of a power guy. I remember him having a wicked curve, but I don't think that's the point. There's Rawich. What the hell's Rawich? Josh Rawich. Oh, president of the Baseball Hall of Fame. Well, don't know him. There's Sorbello. Oh, pretty girl. Looks happy. She is a reality TV star. There's Contreras. There's Cuero. There's Matt Shaw. Kirby Puckett. Miss Kirby Puckett. What a great, great player. There's a Betts. That looks a little bit different. I guess not. Maybe not. Were they all like this? There's Gibson hitting a home run for the Tigers. That's 84. I don't know. The minis look like that normally? No, it looks a little different with like the little mini picture of Betts down there. It's pretty cool. I don't know. I don't know if that's a short print or what that is. Again, in these sets, there's always these little quirky things. You know, I'm sure somewhere in my collection is hiding some, Seth Meyers is hiding probably some huge hit that I'm not aware was a huge hit. There's Dizzy Dean. There's Bobby Witt Jr. refractor. There's Malloy refractor. There's a shorter print of Ramirez. And there's Nolan Ryan on the wicked curves. Ryan was a power pitcher, but he did have a wicked curveball. Couldn't always control it. But he had a wicked curveball, Nolan Ryan. All right, let's keep going. We have Adames. There's the Chef Reactions guy. I actually saw a great post from this guy. He was so psyched. I see him on Instagram. You ever watch this guy? He talks about he watches other people's videos of making this horrible food and he comments on them. And he was just so psyched. Like I don't know if he's genuinely a nice guy or not. Obviously, I just see him online and the Instagram, but he seems, judging by his reaction, about how psyched he was and how much a dream come true it was for him to have his own card. I know he is a card collector. That's how I know him to begin with. Yelich. There's Louis Aparicio. There's Luis Robert Jr. And this is, who is this? Rangers win the World Series. They sure did. Okay, so we're looking for one more hit. We got our rip card to go, but we have one more hit. There should be something, hopefully not a relic. I'd love to hit an auto or something. There's Pujols. There's Alex the Great Rabbit. Flemish giant hair has become a beloved figure known as the Rally Rabbit. It's a very important bunny. I can't read any more of that. Anyway, there's a Rabbit, De La Cruz, there's Jackie, there's Malloy again. Here's Ted Williams. We're building a chrome set of like the greatest baseball players that ever lived, right? There's Steve Carlton, and there's Chris Sale. Let's see, we have this plus 5 packs to go. So somewhere in here should be another hit for us. I don't see it in this one. There's Joe Torre. There's somebody named Rust, Paul Rust. There's Nolan Ryan. There's Skeens, Ted Williams. There's George Brett. Card kind of looked different, didn't it? Looks a little different. Might just be the coloring. There's Jarren Duran. And there's the Red Sox win the World Series with Big Poppy and Ramirez. Okay, here we go. It's Birdsong. There's Nix. Drew Nix is a musician. I don't know who any of these people are. There's Dave Winfield as a Padre who started a career with. Campbell. There's Lugo. There's Campbell again. That is a snailfish. It's gross. 50 fish from Global Waters. That's the insert set. And there's the big train, Christy Mathewson. I have a great T206 Mathewson. It's one of my favorite cards in my collection, the Black Cap. It's a pretty cool card. Okay, that, I don't know if that's a hit or if that's just a numbered card. There's Ramirez, there's Sheldon, there's Bo Jackson. This is Ronald Acuna Jr. And this is not numbered, but it's just that like fancy border. It's pretty cool though. There's Orlando Cepeda, and there's Phil Rizzuto, Scooter, and there's Matt Holliday. That's pretty cool though. That would not be our hit. So in one of these 3 packs, there should still be another hit. So let's see if we can't find it. Might be here. There's Aaron Judge. There's Joe Morgan. Contreras. Oh, that's cool. That's an Ichiro Suzuki game used mem. Marlins. A Marlins game used mem. All right, that's not great, but that's pretty cool. Ichiro game used. That's not bad. Not game, not player worn, but game used. There's Yelich. I just threw somebody on the floor. That's Joe Musgrave. And apologies to Paul Skeens, a Paul Skeens mini. Okay, so we got our 2 hits. This box is really going to come down to that rip card. Let's see what's in these last 2 packs, and then we'll get to it. It's Jackson Merrill. This is, who is this? Laura Prepon? That's 70 show. Not sure I know who that is. Mark McGuire, Jace Jung. There's Dizzy Dean on the refractor. This is a beach in Thailand. Beach in it. Oh, it looks like a little postcard. Isn't that cool? I would read it, but it's way too small, and I'm sure you don't want to hear it. There's Jim Palmer. Okay, here's our last pack, and then we're getting to that rip card. If you made it this far in the video, guys, please like the video. Share it. Talk to your friends. Hey, I found this guy's channel. He rips open cards, talks about them, seems to know what he's talking about. At the very least, he knows everybody's first name. There's Brooks Lee. There's Ozzy Albies, Jordan Alvarez. This is, Livy Dunn, right? Am I right about that one? Yeah. It's a pretty girl. I think she's, where the hell's Skeensy? She's dating Skeens, so we'll put her with Skeens over there. There's Colton Fisk. There's Phil Rizzuto, Chapman, and that is Joe Carter. Touch them all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run. Anybody remember that moment? Off of Mitch Williams, the wild thing, Game 7 of the World Series to win the series. Nice. Drop me a comment if you can tell me. Wait, that wasn't Game 7. I'm sorry. That was Game 6, I think. But drop me a comment if you can name me the other walk-off home run in a World Series. A very, very famous, high-scoring game. I think the game ended 11-10 on this home run. But see if you know it. Anyway, all right, let's get down to business. Here is a Andrew McCutchen, 191 out of 199 rip card. Sorry, Andrew, you got to go away. On the inside of this card, first of all, it says, let's build the suspense like they do. If you dare, rip this card open to discover a collectible exclusive mini card embedded inside. Inside this card will be an exclusive mini parallel. We don't want that. An exclusive mini wood parallel. If we get that of a star player, that's very cool. An exclusive mini metal parallel. Also cool of a star player or a rookie. A red mini autograph card. Those are usually numbered to 10. Or a one-of-a-kind sketch card. Numbered to 1. So we're going to rip this down the middle. Let's see as we rip it. What is that? Anybody make that out? It's a player. It's a Cardinal. Oh, I think that's Thomas Sagasi. I think it's Thomas Sagasi, and I think it's... What the hell is this? If it's black... Oh, this is one of the... This is really cool. This is really, really cool. So we're going to get the rest of this off. Let me get this out of here clean to show it to you. But these are super, super cool. Let me see if I can pull it out. This is one of the... So this is a rookie. These are pretty rare. This is, what are these? I forgot what these are. If they're like stained glass, I think these are stained glass in Allen and Ginter. Look at that. See how the light goes through it? These are super duper short printed. So that is a very, very cool card. That's a pretty cool box. I'm going to hold it up to the light if I can, get as much light behind it as I can. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So that is a stained glass of Thomas Sagasi. Right? It's Thomas Sagasi? Is that his first name? Yeah. For the Cardinals. So that's a big hit. That's a bing, bang, boom, man. That definitely covers the box. Wow. Really, really cool. Okay, guys, that is 2025 Allen and Ginter. That's the hobby box. We also got the game used mem from Ichiro and a bunch of other chrome and, you know, and again, for 140 bucks, 150 bucks, these are just a great rip. They're a great rip. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, this card means we can leave the other box intact, so that's what we're gonna do. I will open that at a future date. I promise. You'll see me rip open that other box, and that's it, guys. Guys, again, if you like the content, please hit the like button. Please drop me a comment. The engagement really, really helps with the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel, and have a great holiday. If you don't tune in again before you celebrate with your friends and family. All my best. Catch you next time.